do this.
Free agency in the National Football League. Legal tampering started this week, and oh my goodness, what a week. World of Matchups, Las Vegas, Nevada. Dexter Reed on the other side. A1 from day one, producer extraordinaire Spencer the Wiz. Bro, we were going to take this week off. How are we going to have? We can't. We cannot. You have to come in here and we have to discuss what has happened this week. Literally, this has probably been the biggest free agent week I have ever seen in the National Football League. And this next season is going to be absolutely lit.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, it almost feels, I know this isn't necessarily true, but it feels like once Vegas entered the league, like, I don't know, it just feels like a more full NFL experience. You know what I mean? Like, the offseason seems better for some reason. Like, since these events have been showing up in Vegas, it just seems like the bar has been raised. Like, this has been crazy. This has been one of the most, like, it feels like the NFL season is still going somehow.
Yeah.
Like, it has just been so good. Like, it has captivated my attention every day since the offseason. And the draft hasn't even happened yet.
And it hasn't even happened yet. I'm like stuck to my phone, glued to transactions. I'm on Roto World. I'm on Spot Track. I'm everywhere. Like, literally, like every 2 seconds, I'm waiting for the next big thing to drop in the National Football League. And let me tell you something, man, for fantasy purposes, for gambling purposes, I'm here to tell you with the draft that's coming in, these quarterbacks, these wide receivers, this might be the biggest season you have ever seen in the National Football League ever. Like, literally ever. Like, Roger Goodell has to be smiling from ear to ear. I mean, you want to talk about job security. As long as these players produce and these owners' pockets are aligned, that guy's going nowhere. That guy's got more job security than the President of the United States. Anyway, I digress. Let's get into it, bro. We got a lot of big free agents that happened. Who do you want to break down first? Christian Wilkins?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what kicked off free agency in a way. It happened really fast. I mean, the Kirk Cousins one also, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, this was one of the bigger names off the board, and at least in terms of guys who moved. This was massive for the Raiders. I know they probably wanted Chris Jones. I'm imagining they probably went pretty strongly after him.
They did.
But in terms of a plan B, this is about as good as it gets. I mean, for a defensive tackle to have 9 sacks, that's not easy to do. That is a very high bar to clear. 23 QB hits. I think I saw some sort of graphic. It was him, Max Crosby, and Malcolm Kuntz had over 100 QB hits last year combined. And thinking back, there weren't too. I mean, Bradley Chubb, I think, was on that Dolphins team, but he's never played next to somebody to the talent level of Max Crosby. So he gets even less attention this year. So those 9 sacks could go up. The Raiders have a top 10 defense for the first time since 2003. I mean, I really, truly believe their defense is that good. They need one more corner, but I think you can address that maybe through free agency. When you have a defensive line that's going to look like what it does, it's going to be pretty special. I mean, that takes a lot of pressure off your cornerbacks. You don't need a star. I mean, I'm hoping they get someone like Stephon Gilmore or something, just a cornerback 3, because I think a lot of those voids where maybe you'd want a star or a cornerback kind of go away when you're just getting to the quarterback so often. Patrick Graham going to have these guys flying around. The Raiders have been kind of silent this offseason. They've made a couple of moves, but when I really think about it, they didn't need that much. Not every offseason you got to make 1,000 moves and waste your money on who's out there. It feels like you do when you see all these alerts go off on your phone, but you don't. I'm looking at that Raiders roster. They didn't lose that many guys. You know what I mean? So this was almost a perfect offseason for the Raiders so far.
So far, it's been really, really good. Getting Christian Wilkins in, you absolutely had to go get this guy because, believe me, if Brett Veach did not pay Chris Jones would have been a Raider. There's nothing more for Chris Jones to do. He's got his rings. He wants his money. And so the Chiefs overpaid for him and reset the market. Now Christian Wilkins goes to the Raiders. Great weather, no state tax, a great defensive-minded head coach that wants to play bully ball. Now on the other side of Max, you have this guy. They are literally gearing up to try to take Mahomes down. That's really the bottom line. The Raiders are taking their biggest swing here to try to take down Patrick Mahomes. And kudos to them for doing it. I think the top 10 defense is not out of the realm of possibility. I do believe that it is true based off what I saw the last couple games of last season. Now that's translating over to this season with the new head coach and the new philosophy and the new mindset. They got the Mahomes rules now. This is the perfect guy to bring in and help implement that. And let's be honest, man, if they get anything out of last year's first round pick, they've got the best D-line in football. Go out and get Stephon Gilmore. Go ahead and draft Kool-Aid McKinstry. Dude, I'm telling you, I said it to somebody last night who's a big AFC West fan, but a Charger fan. I'm like, your days of being in the hunt are over. You know what I mean? It's Chiefs Raiders now, period, end of statement. And I'm here to tell you, I believe that the Raiders, if they have the type of draft that I think they could have, where they finally say, we're going to go get our quarterback, and it pans out, the Raiders go into playoffs, and they're going to win a game. So I like this move a lot. I like it a lot. I'm not even mad at it. You know what I mean? Like, it's time we get that Raider mystique back into the NFL. I mean, you alluded to it earlier in the show here. The NFL is better when the Raiders are good. The NFL is better when the Cowboys are good. The NFL is better when certain teams are good. And is it really a rivalry if one team wins 80% of the games, 90% of the games? No, it's time for the Chiefs-Raiders rivalry to literally be a thing again. And you took a big swing last year winning on Christmas Day. And granted, it helped us because it propelled us to winning a Super Bowl and not losing again. But I think it also helps you to show your franchise what you're capable of doing with Antonio Pierce, a head coach. This, to me, is an A++ signing, and probably the best signing the Raiders have had. And I can't remember how long.
Maybe in my life, like literally, maybe like I would say, oh god, like I'm really trying to go back.
I couldn't figure out who's
Seymour,
been maybe
Richard Seymour was a big, and he was good for the Raiders. So I would say that's probably the biggest signing.
Warren Sapp. I mean, Sapp was on the down end of his career. I mean, Rich Gannon. I mean, it's been a while. This is a big splash. Who's up next?
Dude. All right, we'll go at the running back position here. Saquon Barkley. Yeah, this was a bit. I don't know if surprising is the right term. I don't think the Giants ever intended on paying him ever. Kind of weird. I'm in the boat of do not pay running backs, and I know that sounds terrible. I mean, I want these guys to get their money. I'm just saying for my franchise, I'd prefer not to give a running back a big second contract because it just almost never works out. If you look at Super Bowl winning teams and you go down the list of who's the running back on those teams, they're never in the top 10. They make up like less than 1% of the salary cap. And that's just the reality of the situation, you know. And I like Saquon, but the guy's been hurt all the time, you know, and I guess it makes sense for the Eagles. They do have a very good running offense, and you know, they had DeAndre Swift last year. He was pretty good, but you know, obviously Saquon's better than DeAndre Swift. It could work out for them. And I think that the Eagles' problems go well beyond Saquon Barkley, though. I think it's, you know, Jalen Hurts. I think that's the big problem. We'll see how this ends up working out. The Eagles did do some really good retooling this offseason.
Yeah.
I will give them that. It's a new look. They're coming at it fresh. Whatever they were doing last year, I think it just hit a wall. I just think that, you know, they just
the corners are old.
It. Yeah. They bring back CJ Gardner-Johnson too, but
like
Saquon will be very good for them. But if he can stay healthy, that's the problem. It's the same thing with Josh Jacobs. They will be good if they can stay healthy, which is just not a guarantee, and it's almost not likely.
Yeah, I agree. And I will tell you, I don't really love this move for a lot of reasons. I'll start with the Giants. I mean, you paid Daniel Jones, which I told you guys when that happened. That's going to be the worst. That's going to be the worst contract in the history of the National Football League. I mean, it's absolutely deplorable. I mean, you could have given him $20 million a year and then paid Saquon, who has been a good soldier for the Giants for a lot of years now. I mean, granted, he does get hurt a lot, but what's he running behind? You know, Saquon Barkley, you know, you tag the kid, you bump him. I mean, you've done everything that you could possibly do with him, and you're just refusing to pay him. And so I'm not mad that he left. Good for you, Saquon. Leave. Go get your money. Go run behind a line that will block for you. Go run. I mean, it's what you have to do. I would have left as well. Going to the Eagles, boy, in division to a rival, boy, that's tough. On the Philadelphia side of it, I don't really love it because Jalen Hurts runs a lot, man. You know what I mean? I mean, when Saquon starts getting vultured, I mean, he's going to get used like DeAndre Swift, and Swift got used very sparingly down the stretch, very sparingly. So what are you really paying this guy for? I mean, do you really think that the addition of Saquon Barkley is going to help you beat a Kansas City, help you beat a Baltimore or a Buffalo in the playoffs? I mean, look at the running backs those guys have, and those teams are all better than you. I'm not in love with it. I'm happy Saquon got paid because Saquon deserved to get paid. But like you said earlier, man, I mean, look at Isaiah Pacheco making $750,000 a year. I mean, you don't need a stud running back. You know, the NFL has moved into RBBC now. You know, the days of like the Priest Holmes and the Larry Johnsons of the world and the LaDainian Tomlinsons of the world, the Emmitt Smiths, the 3-down punishing backs, that's going away. It's going away. And so Saquon got his money. I don't see how you play for the Eagles after playing for the Giants, but money is money. You know what I mean? And they're going to embrace him, and he will have a better line to run behind. But I don't really love it. And I'm not really sure it made the Eagles that much better. Run Swift more and save money and fix your defense, and you would have been in a better shape. But the splash has been made. Giants going to win 2 games next year. Yeah, everyone's going to be gone. Dable's going to get fired. Danny Dimes is going to get waived. Giants are going to draft a quarterback here. Giants, they
more and more likely.
They realize how bad they mess up. Don't be surprised if Michael Penix Jr. ends up on the Giants, guys. Daniel Jones is not the answer. Next.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of quarterbacks, this was probably the biggest free agency quarterback news. This wasn't a big class in terms of free agency for quarterbacks, but yeah, Kirk Cousins gets a massive contract to go to the Falcons. They didn't want to pay Lamar Jackson $200 million, but they'll give, a 39-year-old or 36-year-old Kirk Cousins 180. Kind of interesting. Now,
make it make sense, please. I'll listen.
Well, the Falcons are not in place really to get a franchise quarterback from where they're drafting necessarily. And they have all of these win now ready pieces. So they feel obviously that Kirk Cousins is going to be the last piece of the puzzle to help them get some wins. Now they do play in a very bad division. So having a top quarterback probably just wins you it, because the Saints stink. Like Derek Carr obviously cannot win a division at all to save his life. So, I mean, this instantly makes them favorites, and they'll probably go to the playoffs. You have Bijan Robinson, you have Kyle Pitts, you have all these really good weapons. I mean, Drake London.
They just never had receivers.
Yeah, they obviously now have a quarterback who's going to get them a ball. It's just a massive risk. And, man, whatever money or percentage that Kirk Cousins' agent gets from these contract negotiations, it's not enough. This guy, his agent's got to be one of the best in the league. He just finds a way to get him like as much money as he wants. So good for him. I mean, I think that's probably a good thing.
But never in my life have I seen anything like what I'm witnessing from Kirk Cousins. This guy has surpassed Sam Bradford. He's the GOAT. I've never, ever seen anything like this. This is a guy who has only raped and pillaged one franchise, 2 franchises. He did it to three different franchises. The guy has 1 playoff win in his career. 1. And his earnings, his guaranteed money over his career is like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, it's the type of money that you would give Jordan. It's unbelievable. What a fleecing. And I don't love it. I don't love it. I mean, like you alluded to earlier, you wouldn't pay Lamar, but you'll pay Kirk Cousins. I wouldn't have paid Kirk Cousins this money if he wasn't coming off of ACL surgery. If he was 100% healthy, I still wouldn't have given him this money. I would have went after Justin Fields. Now, he's a big arm. Hopefully his health holds up. They've given him everything there is to work with. All the pieces are there. Pitts, London, they just signed a bunch of guys. Bijan is going to go absolutely bananas. But you're going to have to address your defense and your line here. Kirk Cousins is the epitome of a mid quarterback. You might make the playoffs and lose. And Atlanta, Washington, Minnesota, these are not franchises anyone can convince me are trying to win a Super Bowl. You're okay with mediocrity. That's what you are. You're okay. You'll get to the playoffs at home and you'll lose to the Giants. I mean, that's what you are with Kirk Cousins. He's 36 years old, and you just gave him a 4-year deal. Really? My God, it's absolutely deplorable. I don't love it. It will help them a lot to get the ball in the air, kind of transition from the running team that they've been for the last couple of years. Maybe they make the playoffs. I don't see them going much further than that. It's not a move that I love. And like you said, man, whoever this guy's agent is, man, the crown is yours now. You know what I mean? We want to talk about all these other guys getting the most money for their players. Whoever you are, you just jumped to the top because this is a signing I didn't see coming, and it's laughable to me at best for the money that you paid him.
All right, one last big free agent that changed teams, and that's Danielle Hunter. Goes from the Vikings to the Texans. Big signing. The Texans have been very active this offseason. So I think they've made some great moves. And, you have D'Amico Ryans, and you pair him up with someone like this. It's great. I mean, they have just been very calculated in everything that they do. I think the new regime started last year, if I'm not mistaken. And I have no criticisms against them. Hunter is, one of the best pass rushers in the league. 16 and a half sacks last year, 23 tackles for loss. This is a match made in heaven. I mean, this is, I would imagine he's going to have the best season of his career at this point.
Absolutely.
About $25 million a year, which is about the going rate for pass rushers at this point. I feel like that's maybe a tiny bit of an overpay.
Not named Chris Jones, yeah.
But I think they're going to get the most amount of value out of this contract because they're going to get. And the Texans are just slowly but surely building a great team. Now, they actually traded out of their first-round pick and gave it to, I believe, the Vikings. So that's kind of interesting just because there's so many wide receivers in this year's draft.
But do they need any of them? Noah Brown, Tank Dell's coming back, Nico Collins. I mean, they just got Joe Mixon. Offense ain't the problem. You know what I mean? Dalton Schultz re-signed. I mean, you want to talk about a team that is doing it right? The Houston Texans are the best team in Texas. They are doing it. They are doing it right. And I'm here to tell you, man, this is a team that you better watch out. Everyone's talking about the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. The team that I'm worrying about as a Kansas City Chiefs fan is the Houston Texans, because they've got CJ on a rookie deal, so they could spend, which you're watching them spend, and they could run the ball. They could stop the run. They got good pass rushers now, and if everyone's healthy, they can throw the ball downfield. I mean, and they've taken the steps. They went as far as they should have gone last year. They weren't going to beat Baltimore, but that is a good jumping off point for this year. And D'Amico Ryans is now 1 year better with 1 year more experience. I'm telling you, man, watch out for the Texans. Texans are winning 10, 11 games, and they're going to the playoffs, and they're going to win more. I could see them going to the AFC Championship. I'm not even joking you. I'm not joking. This is a team that's done everything right, and I'm telling you, let them have a good draft. Oh, my goodness. They're a legitimate threat. They could beat anyone. Who can they not beat?
And they were doing it last year. And once you get to the playoffs, there's so much value just getting there. It's like franchise changing because you don't know what it's like until you're there. And the more you're there, the more comfortable you get. And the fact that they did that last year, it's something
I've been banging the drum on CJ Stroud now for as long as you've known me, bro. And I'm telling you, you all out there listening, you still don't understand how good this kid is. You don't. You might think you do. There is another gear about to come for CJ Stroud with a better running game. The defense is going to keep opposing offenses from scoring on this team, and they're going to be able to win games a lot of different ways. Watch. Guys, it's coming. They remind me of the Lions a little bit. They remind me of the AFC version of the Lions. They did it the right way. 3 wins, 7 wins, just missed the playoffs, 9 wins. All of a sudden, they're in the playoffs. I'm telling you, a franchise quarterback and a GM with money, a quarterback on a rookie deal, and how does Joe Mixon end up there? That's a better spot for him than Cincinnati. You go get your generational tight end. I mean, man, stop. I love the Texans. And I'm telling you, watch out for them. They're going to go far this year. Bet whatever the Texans overs are, guys, they're going to be good. Next.
All right, we can kind of go wherever you want with this one.
Well, I think
pretty
we
much
need
in the
to
best.
we need to talk about Chris Jones. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about how Chris Jones, that one move by Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs, landing Chris Jones, how that changed everyone's plans. Because the GMs were literally sitting by the clock waiting for it to strike with Chris Jones not being signed. And I think that Brett Veach, Andy Reid, Mark Donovan, these guys knew that the clock is ticking, man. And they don't love the Katz brothers, but they had to pay him. You have to pay Chris Jones. I go back and I look at the Super Bowls and I look at the playoff games and I look at the plays that Chris Jones has made. He's an absolute game wrecker. And literally, the Chiefs don't have these. They don't have these rings without him. And you want to go for a three-peat, you have to overpay. Now, I like the way it's structured. I do, because it's only a small percentage against the cap this year for the Chiefs. And you're going to have to kick the can down the road. And down the road, him and Mahomes are going to own the Chiefs. But right now, I know for a fact if Chris Jones wasn't signed by Kansas City, he would either be in Vegas, he would either be in Houston, and that's just not a chance that I'm willing to take. Yes, he's 30 almost, but there's no denying. I mean, now that Aaron Donald has retired, he's the best defensive tackle in the entire league. And you can move him around like a chess piece, whereas you can't do that with a lot of other people. A lot of people are thinking to like, how do you pay this guy that kind of money? Guys, how do you not pay this guy that kind of money with the cap going up and what he can do? Chris Jones deserved to get paid. Period.
Oh, he's the best. Yeah, you're right. He's the best defensive tackle in the league. He has been the most important piece defensively for the Chiefs in all of these Super Bowls every single time without
since
question.
he was drafted. Since he was drafted.
Every single time, they win a game, you can look back to a few plays that he made that were game-changing, and there's no way they could have let him leave. They were right to choose him over L'Jarius Sneed 100,000,000%.
Yep, and I think they still could sign Sneed. I mean, the rumors are that, the Colts have a tag and trade in place for a third and some other compensation, but I'm also hearing through the grapevine that Sneed might play on the tag. I mean, it's a huge raise. I mean, the tag is $19.48. I mean, he's making $19 million. I mean, what was he making last year? It was nowhere near that. Ball out again and then go walk. I mean, my thing is with this is that you're still young. You kind of had a knee issue that's worrying a lot of people, I think, quietly that no one's talking about. And why wouldn't you want to be one of 53 men to ever three-peat? I mean, money is going to be there. I mean, Sneed's still young. So if he walks, he walks. But if it'd be like Tyreek again. You know what I mean? Now the Chiefs will prove to you that they can lose pieces on defense and still win. I think they made the right choice by taking Chris Jones as well. You absolutely have to take the game wrecker. All those defensive backs jobs are easier when Chris Jones is the one setting the table. Mike Dana was eating. Karlaftis was eating. All those guys were eating because Chris Jones was setting the table. Double teams, triple teams. And you guys want to talk about all these holes that don't get called on other teams. What about the holes on Chris Jones, man? My goodness. Chris Jones gets mugged on every single play, every single snap. I mean, that's how important he is to a defense. And Chris Jones on the Raiders would have been doom. Would have spelled doom. He'd be dead to me. He'd be dead to me. I couldn't see it. So that's one I definitely want to talk about. Who else is out there? Some big moves. What about some wide receivers?
Yeah, Hollywood Brown. That's a big one. Again, this is just proof that you don't have to sign a bunch of guys in the offseason to have a good offseason. The Chiefs have been just very pointed, very specific, and they got a speedy wide receiver, which they've been lacking. He's the best wide receiver on the team in like 2 years.
Yeah, well,
and I think
he's better than MVS.
With the Chiefs.
Yeah, I do too. He's going to be better than MVS. I mean, his drop rate's better. Yes, he's 5'9", but I'm not too concerned about that. Tyreek was 5'10". Now all those plays that you had to pull out of Andy Reid's playbook because Tyreek left, you can now kind of start putting those back in. And guys, it's up to 11 million. It's not 11 million. It's base 7. So when you look at what Calvin Ridley got, when you look at what that other guy from the Bears got, I mean, like all these all these mid wide receivers or average wide receivers, I think aren't as good as Hollywood Brown, got like 4 times the money he got. And he's just coming in. It's a perfect example of Juju Smith-Schuster again. You come in, you're on a championship team with the best quarterback in the league with the opportunity to ball out so hard that you go somewhere and get paid. Juju Smith-Schuster got 3 years, 36, I think, from the Patriots, and then was never heard from again. Get your ring, then get your money. And so, again, I think Brett Veach is the best GM in the league because he just finds these guys who want to come to Kansas City and will play for less. And if you can have 1,000 yards on a running team like the Lamar Jackson-led Ravens, what are you going to do with Patrick Mahomes? I mean, speed kills, and now this signing makes it so that at 32, they're not hamstrung to something. Like, if there's a great offensive tackle there, they can take him there. Or they can go through the plethora of wide receivers that are going to be left. Troy Franklin, Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, all those guys will probably still be there. Lad McConkey. I'm telling you, man, the Chiefs are having a wonderful offseason. I don't know. Some of you Chiefs fans are mad about this. What are you so mad about? I mean, who did you want them to get? There's no one left. And you're not trying to pay these guys millions of dollars. $7 million for a guy who can be a burner and take the top off a defense, even if he does nothing, just take that DB down the field. Kelsey and Rasheed will do the rest. That's worth $7 million. I mean, I don't understand. Some of you casuals make me sick because, like, you don't understand football. This is a great signing. How could you not be mad? How could you not be happy about this? It makes no sense to me. I think the Chiefs are setting themselves up lovely, and if they have a great draft, watch out, guys.
Yeah, watch the Chiefs get Tyler Boyd or something too. That'd be crazy. A few other big signings. You know, Josh Jacobs goes from the Raiders to the Packers.
I like it.
Yeah. It just depends. I don't know. I can't get a read on this Packers team. It's so hard to tell, like,
dude,
where they are.
I like it.
It's a very inconsistent football team.
I like it. They didn't want to pay Aaron Jones anymore, man. Aaron Jones is always hurt. He's the epitome of a hurt running back. And you saw how quick he jumped to Minnesota on a 1-year, $7 million prove-it deal because he knew it. You're not getting better than that. Meanwhile, they give JJ 4 years, 48, and it's front-loaded. This is a great, great, great signing for Green Bay because after the first 2 years, there's nothing else guaranteed. You know what I mean? And he's a 3-down back. A.J. Dillon's a bum. He'll just be there to spell J.J. He's going to get his numbers. He's going to get his catches. He's going to get his touchdowns. And I'm here to tell you, man, he's better than Aaron Jones. And the Packers aren't far away. We talked about this last year. If the Packers had just a little bit better defense, they would have beat the Niners. You know what I mean? They were, but Jordan Love is young and he's learning. Jordan Love is just kind of like C.J. Stroud. These guys are young. See, this is where the experience of a guy like a Brady, you just can't, there's no price tag you could put on that because he's seen these situations. So these guys are taking their lumps and now their teams are getting them better. So when they're in these situations again, he's not going to be throwing a ball across his body and maybe you'll have a better running back to churn out more yards. I love this move. It's kind of a weird place for him to go, but Josh Jacobs deserved to get paid too. And I love the Raiders letting him go. Zamir White's going to be a beast.
It's just like guaranteed that you're not going to get a full season out of Josh Jacobs. So it's weird to pay him like that. And anytime that A.J. Dillon had to start for the Packers, it didn't go well for them. He's just not a starting running back.
Dude. He's
so
a bum.
When I think about it like that, where you know, like it's guaranteed that A.J. Dillon's going to have to start some games next season for the Packers. That's how you pick up losses because you're not going to have a running game when that guy's in there. We'll see. I mean, I'm happy for Josh Jacobs to get paid, and I'm just very, very happy that the Raiders did not pay Josh Jacobs for 4 more years because you're not going to get 4 more years out of Josh Jacobs. I really believe that.
You didn't need to, man. You know, when he was hurt with the quad, Zamir White got his shot, and he proved to everybody that this is how we're going to win now. Josh Jacobs lost his job the minute he got hurt because Zamir White's just been laying in the cut waiting, and he showed you what he can do. Zamir White is good. Zamir White is very good. If Zamir White can add a couple catches to his arsenal, he's going to be one of the best 3-down backs in all of the National Football League this year. He'll be a top 10 back.
Yeah,
why would you pay Josh Jacobs? Why would you
Kind
pay
of like
Josh Jacobs?
it's kind of like the whole philosophy of like quarterback, like letting them sit behind a really good player. It's what they've been doing, and he was
Mm-hmm.
ready for the opportunity once he got in. He's fresh, like
He's
you know.
fresh, dude.
I think having almost a couple of years off of college football, where you probably carry the ball 60,000 times, and then you go to the NFL and you get a couple years to get right. You learn
He's
the game
just
a little bit.
watching and waiting and laying in the cut, and you get a couple fourth downs here and a couple end of game kneel downs here, and all of a sudden you get thrust into action. And I mean, literally, the Chiefs refused to stack the box against this guy on Christmas Day when they were down. What does that tell you? I mean, he instills fear. He's a bigger body back with skills. I like Zamir White a lot. I'm telling you, man, watch out. That's a huge W for the Raiders letting Josh Jacobs go. You got all you could get out of him, and now let someone else pay him. Because what's Zamir White making? $750,000? Guys, you don't need a top 5 running back to win a Super Bowl. Isaiah Pacheco proved that. And the Chiefs ain't going to pay him when his time comes up either. They'll go out and find another 7th-round running back, and they'll find another 7th-round running back. The days of the Priest Holmes, the days of the Tomlinsons, those Sean Alexander guys, they are over. They're over. Bijan Robinson will be the last heavy-duty running back you see get paid in the National Football League, and it's only because he plays for a dummy-ass team that will pay anybody any amount of money. Let's talk about the Bears a little bit, man. Bears are winning free agency right now. They've done a really good job. They're moving pieces around. I mean, I don't love Swift, but Swift is better than the mash unit of bums that they do have. I mean, I think Rashawn Johnson deserved this chance to start, but I understand getting Swift. I love Keenan Allen for a 4th. I don't see how that is even allowed. I mean, I'm sure they called and they were like, you know what, we're not doing anything to help you fall in a hole. I'm sure a lot of other teams called. I heard New England called and they weren't willing to give up a 4th. Like, how are you not willing to give up a 4th? You're New England. You're horrible. Get someone in there. You know what I mean? Galvanize a franchise again. But it's a crime that it happened. And they're tearing it down in LA as they should. And now they get Keenan Allen, which solidifies to me them definitely taking Caleb Williams. They're definitely going to take the kid because Keenan Allen is the best kind of wide receiver to have for a rookie. I still don't like what's between Caleb Williams' ears. But with Darnell Mooney is gone, and now you bring in Keenan Allen. That's an upgrade. You know what I mean? DJ Moore, massive, massive player. Cole Kmet. They have a great offense now. They really, really do. They signed Sweat. They signed Byard. You know, I mean, this is a team that's going for this, man. And I honor what they're doing. I like it a lot. Ryan Poles has done a great job. And let's just pull and pray that it works out with Caleb. I could see it not working out, but I could also see it working out. It's literally the hugest flip of the coin in the NFL this year is what's going to happen with the Bears at 1. What do you think?
Yeah, with every passing day, I think my biggest takeaway is that nobody wants Justin Fields. I mean, they can't get rid of him.
They're going to be stuck with him. They're going to be stuck with him. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go?
I think he goes to the Vikings.
There's nowhere else for him to go. There's nowhere else for him to go.
You see him getting traded to the Steelers as a backup quarterback.
But rewind on that real quick, because what I've been hearing about the Vikings here is that they are positioning themselves to move up because they have traded a couple picks back and forth here. I forgot with who. And they're eyeing Drake May. You know, they get Sam Darnold as a 1-year stopgap. You draft Drake May to be your quarterback of the future because, again, GMs are starting to realize, wow, CJ Stroud, huge jump. Wow, Patrick Mahomes, huge jump. Oh, yeah, we don't have a franchise quarterback. So let's get off. Oh, wow, LA, Justin Herbert. You must have a franchise quarterback. That's why the Raiders are going to get a franchise quarterback this year. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you cannot win a Super Bowl nowadays. You cannot. And so I don't see Justin Fields going there. I see Justin Fields being a bear. I see him being a bear. No one wants him. Justin Fields is not going to go someplace and be a backup quarterback. And there's no starter jobs left. He's going to be a bear. It's going to be like Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. And they're going to fight it out.
It's worse than that, though, because Justin Fields isn't a veteran like Alex Smith is.
But where's he going to go?
They cannot. They're going to have to give him away for a 6th-round pick. Plain and simple.
A 7th. A seven.
Yeah, it's
Mac
gonna be that
Jones.
bad.
Mac
They're
Jones got a 6th-round pick. Mac Jones. Mac Jones going at a
the Bears
6.
are in trouble.
They're in trouble.
Their problem is that they're asking for too much. It's been a consistent storyline. They've
Here's
talked
the
with this
deal.
team. They've talked with that team. They
They
won't agree on
should
the
they should have
right.
traded him already.
They
They
could
should
have
have
gotten a
traded him.
4th rounder for him if they
I
had done
think
it.
I think
Pulled the
they could
trigger
have
early.
potential. There was a time where I thought they might get a 1, and they should have jumped all over it. They should have jumped all over it. They're gonna get stuck with him. Where's he gonna go, Spencer?
Because
There's
people
nowhere
call
left.
them up and they say, we want Justin Fields. And they say, okay, we want a 3rd round pick. They say, no, go draft Caleb Williams and see what that does to your locker room. And that's what I'm telling you, that's what every team
That's
is
what
saying.
everyone's
Go
saying.
ahead.
It's
Go to
buyer
draft
beware.
day, go to number 1 and like have Justin Fields be the number 1 talk of the draft. Go ahead. We dare you to do it. And every team is saying that.
Nope. I mean, Sam Howell goes to Seattle with Geno. They don't need him there.
I know.
I mean, like bums are getting signed over Justin Fields, which makes me believe that they're really not shopping him. You know what I mean?
The Raiders trade him for a 6th round pick today. I don't think I'd blink an eye. And
I would do it if I was the Raiders.
13.
I think what's going to happen is he's either going to stay a Bear or he's going to get moved draft day. I could see a team wanting to take a swing on a franchise quarterback getting sniped. And now you're like, damn. You know,
there's like
really,
6 teams that need a quarterback. And
really
wanted
Penix, and I never thought that the Giants would do it because Daniel Jones is there, and they took him. What do we do now? Yep. And then Ryan Poles' phone is ringing off the hook. You know, we'll give you a 6. We'll give you a 5. You know what I mean? We'll give you a 4. Like, then he's going to be a draft day steal for somebody because I don't care what anyone says. Justin Fields is good. Justin Fields is a good quarterback. He's never been, dude. It's funny to me how the Bears want to help Caleb Williams now, but didn't want to help Justin Fields.
Yeah, he doesn't get half as much of a fair shake.
It's not fair. And I really was hoping he would go to Atlanta and ball out, or maybe come to the Raiders and ball out because the kid's got talent, and it's unfair. And it's sad because he wants to be a Bear. I don't know. The Bears saga continues day in and day out, but getting Keenan Allen for a 4th should be a freaking felony. Derrick Henry, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that was a very interesting move. It feels like it's going to work out. I mean, I can't imagine it doesn't. And it feels great. Like, I don't know. There's something about it is, yeah, I mean, I think that they're putting the Ravens in a position to do something pretty special here. They seem to be more of a speed offense, though, which kind of concerns me. Like, the best success they had running the ball was with, I forget the kid's name, Mitchell.
J.K. Dom. The Mitchell kid who broke his ankle or something towards the.
Just because Lamar Jackson and all of them, they're so fast, but Derrick Henry's a bruiser. I guess they'll have to modify things a little bit. I know they've been wanting him for a while, and it's crazy as it is. Derrick Henry's a pretty healthy running back, so I mean,
he's just on the other side of 30. Yeah, they're gonna get a decent amount out of him. He's just on the other side of 30, which kind of worries me. And what also worries me as well is that Lamar runs a lot. It's kind of like the Saquon Barkley situation.
Yeah.
You're on teams where your quarterbacks get the touchdowns. So, like, will your production be what it used to be? I mean, they're only paying him, I think it's $8 or $9 million a year. Here's the deal. Let's say the Ravens have to play the Chiefs anywhere again. Did the Chiefs stop Derrick Henry in the AFC Championship game on their way to a Super Bowl 3 years ago? Now he's 3 years older. You can't tell me they can't do it again. They've just signed Mike Pennell, re-signed Derek Nottie. Chris Jones is still there. I mean, running backs start to fall off a cliff at age 30. I would have liked Derrick Henry more if he went to Dallas, but Dallas is just a bunch of dummies.
They stink.
The Dallas Cowboys are horrible. And their ownership is terrible. Jerry Jones needs to just croak already so they can get down back to trying to be the Dallas Cowboys of old where they're winning Super Bowls. Because I've never seen a team that was so ready to win do absolutely nothing in free agency when there's players everywhere. And I think the Cowboys got a little money. Derrick Henry on the Cowboys would be great. Who's their running back right now?
Yeah, just
Tony
because they're
Pollard's
more
gone.
run-focused offense. I just don't see that from the Ravens.
It
just doesn't feel like a great fit, like, when I think about it.
Yeah, they just have nobody. And so I like Derrick Henry on the Ravens. It should be a good signing. I don't think he's going to miss a beat. But at the same time, like, is it going to get you to a Super Bowl? I mean, this is a team that watched Patrick Mahomes on the sideline and forgot who they were. Ran the ball 6 times in their own building in the AFC Championship game. It's absolutely deplorable.
Exactly.
They should all be arrested. It just goes to show you how, like, it's like guys like LT, like when Strahan said he saw LT for the first time, he was like gliding across the room. Or like when people saw Jordan for the first time, dude, people see Patrick Mahomes and they shit their pants. They forget who they are. And it could happen again, Derrick Henry or not. I mean, this year you're going to see a big dose of the run game from them because they realize how bad they blew it, and it won't happen again. But the Chiefs can stop the run. Did the Chiefs slow down McCaffrey?
The Ravens didn't feel like Derrick Henry away from winning that playoff game. I guess that's the best way I can describe
it. Wouldn't have mattered.
Why I think this is a weird signing.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered, but I'm glad that he went there. You know what I mean? I'd hate to see Derrick Henry go there, to go to Houston or Dallas. Those are kind of the places that I kind of think he needed to go. Dude, how does Calvin Ridley get this money from Tennessee?
Well, they're a little desperate. When you're desperate, you're going to overpay.
Oh my goodness, that's absolutely
because they had
terrible.
No one. They had Treylon Burks.
Burks. They got D-Hop. I mean, they gave him the bag. He's not that good. He was horrible with Jacksonville. I mean, not horrible. Maybe that's a little harsh. But my goodness, man, they paid him out big. I don't know. I mean, he's 29.
He said he feels like he's 25.
Oh, of course, because you sat home for a year on DraftKings. You know what I mean? Like, of course you did. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that move. I mean, I guess they're helping Will Levis. You know what I mean? And now I definitely see the Titans taking Joe Alt, pair him with Peter Skoronski, and you protect Levis, and you give Levis some weapons to throw to who are really good weapons, albeit overpaid and underproducing, and especially Treylon Burks. The Tony Pollard signing to Tennessee I wasn't a big fan of, but I guess it's okay. I mean, they're trying. They're trying, and I can't knock a team for trying. There's a signing I'm looking at here that really makes me scratch my head, and it's kind of sad if you really think about it, where Austin Eckler goes to the Commanders for peanuts.
I don't like the Commanders' moves this offseason.
Either.
So there are some people who are like kind of polarized on it. It just feels like mid, and they're just like going down the list and just signing guys, and it doesn't feel like there's any real direction. Like building a team through free agency is just not the way to go, in my opinion. It's just not going to work out for you.
You have to draft. I mean, Austin Eckler could have held out, and the Chiefs would have gave him that same money. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I swear, I feel like what happened was free agency started to hit, and it hit with such a fervor that guys started to panic and just say, okay, first tell my agent, first offer that comes in, yes. Like Aaron Jones cut, Aaron Jones signed. Austin Eckler, okay, 2 years, $4-5 million, yes. Like, you're not ever going to win anything with the Washington Commanders, bro. And you're Austin Eckler. I know you had a down year, but you are still a decent running back who can catch passes, which is valuable in this league. Even backing up a guy like Isaiah Pacheco, you would be in such a better spot. I mean, why not ring chase? The Commanders? That's horrendous. That's my least favorite move this free agency, was him going there. Do you like Gardner Minshew? Tell me what you're feeling like about that.
Yeah, I think it was the right move. I don't think Aiden O'Connell's good. Like, it was kind of cool for a second. I was kind of excited about it, but it just, when I think about it and you think about the longevity of it, it's never going to work out. And I commend the Raiders for figuring that out sooner rather than later. There are teams who are overcommit to guys who are like good guys. Aiden O'Connell's a good kid, and I think the Steelers were just like overprotective of Kenny Pickett for a while, and they finally pulled the plug too. So I think that the Raiders are like,
Kenny Pickett stinks.
I'm not going to go off of feelings. Like, Aiden O'Connell's not going to be a guy to lead our franchise, so let's not act like he is. Let's not, beat around the bush. Gardner Minshew gets, he's the best backup quarterback in the league, and they gave him money like that. And I think it points towards the Raiders wanting to draft Michael Penix, an injury-prone guy, where if he's feeling a little dead during the season, you draft him. You know, he's
You
your
still have a
quarterback.
good guy behind
You know,
him.
his hamstring is hurting him a little bit. Dude, go sit down. We got the best backup quarterback in the league who can get us a win on any Sunday. Took a team to the playoffs last year. Go ahead, sit down. Gardner Minshew's got you for a while, and you'll come back when you're ready.
Yeah.
I think it was a really good move, actually. I think they got him
What's
for a good value, and I think
12
that you need to
million?
start him on Sunday. You don't even blink an eye because the guy literally just took the team to the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't love Gardner Minshew, but it is a good move for Vegas. The problem is I mean, that can't if they don't come out of this draft with a starting
Well, that's the whole
franchise
thing.
quarterback.
That's the whole
This is
thing.
why I feel like, I mean, I'm looking at mocks and I don't see any mocks that I've looked at having the Raiders' first pick be a quarterback. None. Now, if you decide to throw the dice and try to wait till your second pick, these quarterbacks could be gone. They could be gone, and we're going to do our show next week where we do our 1 through 32 mock, and you're going to see, like, just even during the week, how the trends and the information that's coming out and the trades and the free agent signings sway who's taking who. And all of a sudden, there may not be these guys. I mean, people are like, yeah, Bo Nix will fall to the Raiders. Will he? You know what I mean? Well, J.J. McCarthy will be there. Will he? You know what I mean? Will he? And so I get what you're saying about, the mustache. I do. I mean, he was a starting quarterback for most of the year this year. That kind of experience you cannot discount. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. You know what I mean? Look, there are certain teams that you just can't knock because they're trying. Like the Titans. I can't knock the Titans. Dude, they're trying. The Raiders, dude, they're trying. You know what I mean? The Dallas Cowboys aren't even trying. Dude, even the Bucs are trying, man. Re-sign Levante David. Re-sign Baker Mayfield, which is a very low-key great signing. Gave Mike Evans the bag. I mean, Mike Evans deserved that. You know what I mean? If they come away with Snead and Indy, you know what I mean? They teams are trying. What are the Giants doing? What is Dallas doing? Like, these guys what is Seattle doing? The guys aren't even doing anything. Like, how do you expect to beat a Patrick Mahomes-led team, a Lamar Jackson-led team, a Josh Allen-led team without making decisions that are going to better your team? You're just sitting on your hands. Why? Doesn't make sense to me. So I give the Raiders so far an A in free agency. Or even though I don't like the mustache, I'll like it a lot more when Michael Penix is in the silver and black.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole
have
offseason
to.
contingent on QB1. But
That's crazy.
I feel pretty confident. Like, I know that by going after Wilkins, the Raiders are prepared to make big moves now. I think they're just trying to wait and see a little bit. I think that if they don't get, a quarterback in the first round, you can always get Justin Fields because obviously no one's lining up. So I think the Raiders may wait until after draft day. They don't get the quarterback that they want in the first or the second
That's
round.
what I was saying earlier.
Ring the Bears.
Yeah, hit up Ryan Poles. Look, you know what I mean? We thought we were going to get Penix, and obviously, the Giants jumped in when we didn't think they would take a quarterback. And so what's the asking price? And now he's got you. Now he's got you because he's gonna say 4. He's gonna say 4, and you're gonna be like 5, and he's gonna say 4, and you're gonna be like 5, and you're gonna give up a 4.
Yeah.
Or
I wouldn't blink though. 4th round pick. I mean,
4th round pick, 3rd round pick, dude. I think Justin Fields is still worth a 3rd. I don't care what anyone says. His market is not that depressed. He's a very good player. He's an athletic quarterback. I think you can win with him. He's never been given the structure that the Bears are giving Caleb Williams now, and that's just a fact. Your draft pick comes up. Who's the number one guy you want in your number one draft pick? I think Michael
your
Penix number one pick,
best quarterback.
Raiders are on the clock. Everyone's available. Who do you want them to take?
I want Michael Penix. I feel like he's just ready. I think he's ready to play tomorrow. And I think
I don't think he'll be there. What pick do the Raiders have? How far are you 13? Guys down? You guys are 13.
I'd wait till the 2nd round and take Bo Nix, but it just doesn't move the needle for me.
I don't see you guys taking a quarterback first, sadly, and it makes me sad because I do think that a lot of people are still living in the past of the immeasurables about this guy's health. Dude,
I think it's
he's played 2 years of football. consistently since he was injured. It's time to move past the injury designation that you guys are putting on Michael Penix. The guy's played 2 years. Is he older? Fine. That I'll give you. But you need a franchise quarterback, and he, to me, is going to be best of what's left. Daniels is going to be gone. He's going to be gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, quarterbacks are gonna go 1, 2, 3. So it's the chaos afterwards that is the like. There's no way that the Bears, Washington, and the Patriots don't go quarterback 1, 2, 3. I just don't think there's any way. So you have to look at the other guys. You got to look at JJ McCarthy,
Penix.
You got to look at Penix and Bo Nix. Those are the guys.
If you don't take,
you got to decide which one is
your
yours.
First pick there, dude. I don't know if there's going to be a quarterback there for you when you come back around. At 32, I like what the Chiefs can do because they can move in a lot of different ways now that they've signed a number one wide receiver. I do want them to sign another. I want another receiver.
They may just take the best available at 32.
This receiver class is way too deep to be worrying about tackles with your first pick. I think you stop playing games and, just literally during the entire draft, you just keep showing in the war room every drop pass by Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers. You just put it on repeat. The big catch, the big miss to MVS in the Eagles game. You just opening day, Tony drops, Tony just keep showing it over and over and over. And then when it's time to pick, you take the best available wide receiver. I want Adonai Mitchell. That's who I have come to really fall in love with. I think he's the most electric player, not in the top 5. The top 5 guys will be gone. I like Keon Coleman too, and I like Ladd McConkey. If they take any of those 3 guys, I will be perfectly happy. But Mitchell is the one I want. I want the big body receiver. I want the 6'3" guy. I want the T. Higgins lookalike. We have enough small guys now. It's time to go get a guy who can 50-50 ball from Mahomes, and I think he's the guy. And boy, he would look good in ketchup and mustard, man. He just has the look of a Chief, and he doesn't get talked about all that. We talked about wide receivers last week. I don't think we really mentioned his name at all. I've been watching this guy's highlights. I'm like, damn, this guy's pretty good. I love Ladd. I like Ladd. Don't get me wrong, but we need a beast. I think every NFL team needs a beast. Our beast is Kelsey, and he's old. We need a young beast, and that's the guy that I really, really want. We'll see what happens. It's going to make for a really good draft. Draft day is what? April what? Last week in April 29th, something like that. So we still got a ways to go, guys.
April 25th is the start of the draft.
We still got a ways to go. And so there's a lot of stuff that can happen between now and then. I think, our ears are going to be tired of hearing about the Bears and Justin Fields. We really are. But that's kind of what we're holding our hats on right now with the NFL football, free agency, legal tampering. It's just been insane this week. And I think that you're going to start now that the dust is settling and clearing. It's really going to be about, okay, who are we drafting? Who are we drafting? Who are we drafting until it's draft day? And I think it's going to make for a really good next 4 or 5 weeks. Spencer and I will be back next week, guys. We're going to do a mock draft 1 through 32.
Mock draft time.
Okay, it's mock draft time. World of Matchups is going to give me our annual 1 through 32 mock draft. And you will see kind of what we're thinking. Last year, I think I did odds and Spencer did evens. This year, I think I'll do evens and Spencer will do odds. And so this week we'll formulate who we think is going where, why we think they're going there. And I think even if you want to do it this way, Spencer, even with trades, last year we just did straight 1 through 32. But if you think a team is going to trade up to that pick where you're picking, we'll even throw that out there. I definitely think that Minnesota is trading up to get Drake May. I really do.
I think they're going to go after JJ McCarthy. I don't think they can get into the top 3, so I think they're going to have to go after JJ.
They may try, man. They may try.
They're going to try to trade the Chargers.
I could see that too. Chargers are an interesting team. Boy.
That way you jump in front of the Giants because you're a little nervous about them.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah. The Giants and the Chargers have an opportunity to screw this draft up for everyone. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. World of Matches brings the heat every Saturday, guys. This is it. Hope you really enjoyed the show. Like, subscribe, share with anybody who is interested in football because that is what we do here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We will be back next week. Like I said, we're going to do our 1 through 32, and we're going to break down what we think is going to happen in this year's mock drafts. Parting shots, my guy.
I think it'll be interesting to see the second wave of free agency. There's always the initial top 50 guys that go, but there's still plenty of names.
There's still
out
plenty
there.
of names out there.
Maybe not top end, low end starters, which are so valuable for a football team. No one really understands that you can't just have top guys on a team. It's about that second wave. So I think free agency, the dust has settled, and now you got to look back at your list, and then you really start getting into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, there's good players out there still, man, but everyone is starting to count their nickels too. I mean, don't forget when you draft a guy, you still have to pay that guy. You know what I mean? You can't just like exhaust your spendings now because your draft class is going to cost you a couple million. Not a lot, but still the cap has gone up, but guys are getting paid more. I mean, it is what it is. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good week. Like, subscribe, tell us what you want to tell us in the comments, and we will be back with more from World of Matchups next week. See ya.
See ya.